guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a very special video that I have been planning on and working on for so long. This is going to be me rereading famous childhood series. As you see by the title of today's video and the thumbnail, today's first series is going to be Percy Jackson. So over the span of a few months, I have been slowly but surely thrifting all the Percy Jackson series books. I have all 5 of the first initial Rick Riordan Percy Jackson series. There are a bunch of spin-off series that he wrote, but right now this video is going to focus on this one. I'm so excited to reread them and see if they hold up to the hype and if they're still near and dear to my heart. Let's read the entire Percy Jackson series in one video, starting with The Lightning Thief. Alright guys, it is the next day and I'm officially 158 pages into Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. In terms of how I'm liking it, in terms of how I'm feeling about it at the moment, it definitely is bringing me back to childhood nostalgia, and especially since the weather outside is honestly pretty crisp. Like, it's warm, but it's not overly humid, it's not overly hot. There's a really nice cool breeze. So it's reminding me of going back to school in elementary school, reading these books, and just all the feelings that are associated with that time. So I definitely am feeling nostalgic. I am enjoying this book very much. The story flows, it's very quick. It's funny how reading a book that you really enjoyed when you were a kid and reading it when you're an adult, it's like, wow, when you were a kid, the story felt so real and so rich and so entertaining, and now it's like, it's still entertaining, but you can see how there's so many details that would have made an adult book so much better, whereas this is a young adult fantasy. I think it's actually middle grade. You can just tell the difference between writing styles, that this is definitely way more fast-paced, a lot less details, very simple sentences. Either way, I'm really liking it and I'm excited to continue reading the rest of the series. I will catch you guys when I finish this book with an official review and rating at the end. Hey guys, so it is the next day and I have finished The Lightning Thief by Percy Jackson. Not by Percy Jackson, by Rick Riordan. So I'm gonna give an in-depth analysis, review, and rating at the end of this video just to sit on all my thoughts, because I'm gonna be rating each book individually and as a series. Just a brief little review right now. I really liked it. It was very fast-paced. I read it pretty much in one day. If you guys hear noises, it's my son in front of me. But it was very fast-paced, very enjoyable, very easy to understand. The Greek mythology and the lore that goes in depth in this book is so important to the plot, and it really helps the reader understand like what's going on and the relations between all the Greek gods and titans and stuff like that. I'm also pretty interested as a person in Greek mythology and the lore behind that, and how there's the fates, the titans, and then the gods, and then I don't know. I just think that that's very interesting, and the stories that people created behind them seem very interesting. I may or may not look into that on my own time, but either way, I really liked the first book, and now let's get into the Sea of Monsters. And I have finished Sea of Monsters. So this one was a lot quicker than the last book. It was actually 100 pages shorter than The Lightning Thief. I liked it. I really enjoy how Rick Riordan puts in like little funny jokes in here that are just cute to read. It kind of takes you away from the fantasy high stakes action that's going on. So I liked it. I enjoyed it. I am working out a rating in my head right now. Like I said, these are such well-renowned pieces of fantasy work that everyone rates them 5 stars. So I'm really gonna analyze every little thing about these books and have an honest rating for you at the end of this video. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. With that, I'm gonna start reading The Titan's Curse, which is the 3rd book in Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and I'm really excited about this one, because if you guys know or don't know, The Sea of Monsters ends on a very huge cliffhanger. So let's get to reading. 25 pages in, and I noticed that between the first two books and this one, it seems like Rick Riordan's writing style has changed. It seems a little more, I don't know if I would say like adultish, if that makes sense, but like, you know how his writing style is for middle grade readers, like the Lexile Index or the Lexile level is for younger readers. And this book, I think he's trying to go with the age development and the reading development of his audience, because it immediately starts off in the thick of the story, whereas The Lightning Thief and The Sea of Monsters kind of started off like, okay, here's what happened and this is what's going on now and this is where I'm at. But this one's like, okay, we're here, we're going. I can't really say that I like it better. I think I liked how colloquial his writing style was in the first two books. This one seems more fast-paced, action-packed, but still I'm kind of missing the development of the story in the beginning the way that the past two books did. I also don't know if it's because reading a hardcover book is different, because I don't know about you guys, but for me, if I read a hardcover book, it's a different experience than if it was in paperback. That might sound weird, but it just makes perfect sense to me. Like, reading a hardcover is not the same as reading a paperback, no matter if it's the same book. Like, I love paperbacks. I'm a paperback girl through and through, and hardbacks just seem so serious. So that's where I'm at. Also, the page material is different as well. I know I'm getting like super into it and critical, but it does alter reading experience. So at least for me. But anyways, that is my 25-page update. It's still very interesting, but in the last book, a super huge cliffhanger was like just thrown at us. Literally the last word. It was like, boom, what's gonna happen now? How are we gonna deal with this? And now within the first chapter, there's no backstory. There's no, here's how we got from there to here. It's just action scene, fight scene. And it's not like, okay, like how did they handle like what happened from point A to point B? We're at point B now, but there was no line in between, you know? I'm sure he'll probably go into a backstory of like what the time was like between books, like in the story, but that's where I'm at. We shall see. On the Titan's Curse. I am 220 pages in. I have a little less than 100 pages left, like 98 pages left or something. And something that I want to say is that this book is actually really funny. I like how Rick Riordan puts in so much like humor and little funny kid jokes that make sense for middle grade readers. So I really am appreciating that. Something else that I wanted to say was that I have remembered reading like pretty much all of what Rick Riordan wrote when I was a kid, maybe middle school to high school level. I do not remember anything about this book, like at all. Like I think I do. I can't tell if I'm just making it up in my head or if I actually read this. But when I went downstairs to my little bookshelf, I realized I only owned, I think it was like 2 out of the entire 5-book series of Percy Jackson. I had bought this recently because I didn't own it. And now that got me thinking, like, did I actually read this? Like, I'm not sure, because I remember the first 2 books, but I did not remember this one. So anyways, what I was actually going to say, my actual update was, this book honestly feels so refreshing because you could tell that the character development is really going underway. Like, Percy is growing up. He started the series as a 12-year-old kid. He's 14 now. He's literally growing up. He's fighting monsters. He's saving the world. He's caring about his friends. And what I really like about it is that he is a leader in this book. I really appreciate the fact that the masculinity in being a leader as a boy and as like a growing man is evident in this book, because I just think that's really necessary and really refreshing to know that if a little young boy picks up this book, they're gonna be like, wow, I could be a leader, I could be a hero just like this. And it's just really refreshing to see that he's being able to lead all of his friends. He's, you know, making wise decisions. He's thinking of these crazy ideas. And I know it's a fantasy series, but it's just nice to see a boy leading, and I'm just happy about that. So I just wanted to give you guys a little update. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm going to try to finish this right now. Alright guys, a little update. I have finished The Titan's Curse by Rick Riordan and I really liked it. I'm still thinking on my rating because I'm not sure about this book because I did feel like Rick Riordan's writing style was a little bit different, but I loved the themes in this book. I loved the character development. I just love Percy's character. I think that he's witty, I think he's funny, I think he's kind of a smart aleck, but also like he cares so much about his friends. And also what really stood out to me in this book is, I mentioned it in another clip, but I said that he's just a natural born male leader. Also, he learned from the mistakes of his predecessors and he like actively genuinely wants his friends to trust him. So I just really like the characters in this book. I thought it was really adventurous and epic, and it was just obviously like a great all-around high stakes fantasy. So as you also saw in the past few clips, I started the Battle of the Labyrinth. I'm already on page 162. This book is flying by. This was the one book I owned when I was thinking about doing this rereading famous series, and it's like pretty much in perfect condition. The pages are so soft in this book, like random piece of information. The pages are so soft. I just love running my fingers over them while I'm reading because they're just so satisfying to feel. It's going by so quickly. It's so entertaining. I think I remembered asking my parents that I wanted this book because it was my favorite in the whole series, and I think so far 162 pages in, it's standing the test of time because I'm thoroughly enjoying it, thoroughly loving it, and I'm just so happy. Percy and Annabeth are starting to notice each other more, which makes me happy. That's not really a spoiler because I feel like everybody knows, but if you don't, I'm not gonna go further into that, but it's just really cute and really nice. So I'm happy, and this book is over 300 pages, like 361 pages. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it today, but I'm really enjoying it, and we'll see when I finish this book. Okay guys, so I have a little update. I have just finished Battle of the Labyrinth, and it was just as good as I remembered it to be. Honestly, it was a little bit better than the first time I read it because I had forgotten so much about it, and now that I'm an adult, I just ate up all the little subplots of romance in this book. It was very good. The action was top tier, the romance was top tier, the angst was just so good, and I really enjoyed it. It was such a quick and easy read for me, but still it talked about so many different topics. There was grief, there was deep emotions, there was, you know, overcoming trials, there was trauma discussed. It was just very good. I loved this book, and without further ado, I'm gonna start the last book in the Percy Jackson series, The Last Olympian. Something about this book is that it started off immediately on an action scene, and this book ends on a crazy cliffhanger, like literally a crazy cliffhanger, and it ends a year before this book, like exactly a year, meaning we get the entire summer, no information, and then we jump to a week before Percy's 16th birthday, which if you know, you know. So I want to know what the heck happened throughout the entire summer. And usually Rick Riordan does a really good job at like recapping throughout the entire story, like, oh, this is what happened, this is what Percy did, like this is what we missed while we were gone, and this is what happenings right now because of what previously happened, cause and effect. But it's literally just been actually one chapter, which was 28 pages, and we don't have that yet, and I just want to know what's the deal with Annabeth? What happened throughout the entire summer camp at Camp Half-Blood? And 3, I just want to know what's going on. I just want to know what's going on. So immediately I'm intrigued. Immediately it was hard to put down because you just wanted to know. I'm really excited, but I don't like the last book in series because you don't want it to end, you know? You've been through so much with these characters that it's just like, why can't it just go on forever? Like, why does it ever have to end? But I'm on chapter 2, page 28, so I'm very excited to see what happened in the past summer. And I'm gonna take it easy, take it slow on how the story ends because obviously I don't want it to. I'm really into it. guys, welcome to the end of this video. I have officially finished the entire Percy Jackson series in a little bit over a week. I did it in a week and one day, and let me tell you, it was a phenomenal experience. So let's go through each and every single one of the books, what I thought about them, what I rated them, and then I'm going to talk about the series as a whole. So first up, we have The Lightning Thief. It was just as good as I remembered it. At the time that I was reading this last week, the weather was kind of getting a little bit chillier. It went back to being hot this week, but it was a little chillier. There was leaves starting to fall. I was fully in the fall atmosphere, the going back to school atmosphere, and this book just hit with the ambiance and everything. The content of the book was just as funny and witty and spectacular as I remembered. The action scenes were 10 out of 10, and honestly, this is a 5-star book for Rick Riordan. Like, for the beginning of the series, this is phenomenal, and I just absolutely loved really being back in this world and just all the characters that are within it. Then was The Sea of Monsters. This was actually a shorter book than The Lightning Thief. It was maybe, I want to say, like 30 pages shorter because it didn't break 300 pages, and I liked it. I didn't love it as much as the first book, but it was still the continuation of the series, so I thought it was really, really good. A new character gets introduced here, which is Percy's half-brother. At first, he's kind of annoying, but you grow to love him. You grow to love his personality throughout the rest of the book, so this was a 4 and 4.75 stars for me. Then was The Titan's Curse, and like I said in the clips where I was reading this, I don't know if it was because it was a hardback or because the texture of the pages was different than the previous books, and that may sound crazy, but I'm not even kidding you. The texture and the color of the pages counts. This texture was like honestly really stiff. It was really, really white, and it just didn't do it for me the way that these pages did. Like, they're just completely different pages. You can literally see the difference. But this one was just a 4.5 stars. Another character gets introduced, and she was kind of bratty. I didn't really love her character. She's not really so prevalent in the rest of the series. Like, she has a very important part to play, but she's not as prevalent the way that Percy and Annabeth are. But I really liked it. It was very interesting. I don't remember much about this book from the first time I read it, like when I was a kid, but it was still very intriguing, very interesting. The storyline follows all of the books perfectly. Like, the plot lines and the different type of conflicts that arise all make perfect sense in this world. I really appreciated that because you don't want anything to just come out of left field, you know? It was really, really good, but this is probably my least favorite book in the series. And then it comes The Battle of the Labyrinth, which I feel like I remember when I was a kid, I asked my parents to only buy me this book in the series because it was my favorite one in the entire series. And that stood the test of time. It is still my favorite. The action scenes were top tier. The subplot of romance, top tier. Everything about it was just phenomenal, and the character development that Percy undergoes is actually 10 out of 10. Like, I don't think I've read a character development as good as Percy Jackson, probably in Sarah J. Maas's book series, but his character development and him becoming a man is just amazing to witness and to watch, and I think Rick Riordan did a really, really good job at writing that in to this book in particular because he's growing up. He's about to be 16, he's about to turn into a man. You know, before he was just a little kid, but now he's stepping up and you can see that, and he's leading. So it was just so cool and really empowering to watch. I really appreciated this book. This book was my favorite, and also I think when I was a little kid, the idea of a labyrinth really intrigued me. So that's probably why it's my favorite, but I love this book. This was 5 stars easily. And now to the very last book. I don't have the dust jacket for this book. It is The Last Olympian, and this book was just the perfect way to end off the series. No loose end was left untied. Everything was covered. Every enemy was defeated. Everybody made their mark, stood their stands, and had their end, and it was just so good. The ending was literally everything you could have asked for. Like, you know how when you read a book, you're like, wow, I really hope it ends in this way because I would just tie the bow in a perfect knot at the end of the story. That's what this book did. It was longer than the rest of them. It was 381 pages. There's a subplot of romance. There's amazing family aspects that knit everything together. There is such a deep-seated trope of friendship, and it was everything. It was so good. So obviously this is 5 stars. This entire series, I would rate it a 5-star series. It doesn't get old. I really feel like you can read it at any point in life, and dare I say, I did see little Jesus glimpses. And yeah, this series is about Greek gods, but I saw Jesus because Jesus is everywhere. So that is the entire Percy Jackson series. It's definitely a 5-star series. I enjoyed reading this so much. All of these books you could literally read in one day because the writing style is so easy to understand. It's relatable, it's funny, it makes sense for the middle grade readers from 12 to 16. The content and the way that they talk, the characters talk, just makes sense. sense. I loved it. I would still highly recommend, and I'm so happy that I did this. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. God bless you guys, and peace.